Hello, 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 everyone. Happy, what is it, Tuesday? Tuesday already. How is everyone doing today? Sterling with a lot of information in the chat. Sterling, you think Coco has kidnapped the markets, holding them at gunpoint, daring them to pull back? And what, are they going to pull back? Is it just going to keep going? Earnings in there. Did you put in let's see. Yeah, you did. This was interesting. UPS missed on revenue and announced they're going to cut 12,000 jobs. Remember when last year wasn't celebrated their new big contract with, the big pay bump, and now jobs are getting cut. Jobs are getting cut. Okay, GM beat. What else do we have? Good morning, Patrick. Good morning, Jacob. Hey, George. Good morning, Royal Palms. All right, so key earnings today after the close. You got AMD. We have Google or Alphabet. I'm still going to call it Google. Doesn't matter. Uh, and Microsoft, and I'm still going to call it Microsoft. So there we go. There we have it. Why do some companies why did Facebook ever rename Meta? Because his metaverse flopped, and now you're stuck with Meta, which makes no sense. I don't get it. Just leave your damn name alone unless there's a really good reason to change it. Christoph, hello. How are you doing? Did you get my response, Christoph? Again, also in here, you should ask people in here, but I'm looking around with any thoughts on Tasty Trade. Today, I did not see the Red Book numbers. We had the house price index. House price year over year forecast 6.5, coming in at 6.6, month over month 0.3%. But remember, these are back from November, and we're at what, February on Thursday. So, but yeah, the market around me is still strong. Houses are disappearing, like within days of them getting put up. So, Jolt's job openings 30 minutes after the cash opened. What else do we have? Job quits. We have CB Consumer Board Consumer Confidence at 9 a.m. Central also. Then we have the Dallas Fed Services Index expected to be in contraction. The manufacturing was ugly yesterday. It was huge down. Huge. And then the report was just ugly, talking about stuff with stagflation and, it just was ugly. So we're going to see the Dallas services. You know what? That's where you got to trade the markets. Remember, you got to trade the markets. Long term, it's still in bear mode. Short, medium term, it's still in bull mode. Does it necessarily make sense? No, I mean, there's some things that are strong, like GM posted great car results today, but then UPS is slowing, laying off people, but then you say the consumer's strong. Everything's like a mismatch. It's the weirdest thing I've ever seen right now. So, but therefore, got to trade in the short term to trend. Tomorrow morning, I'm doing a trade, see the future Ninja Trader webinar. I'll be on there. So look that one up. That's in the morning. If you want to watch that, then I'm going to be on whatever Bob and Jim's, not the podcast, but the whatever their Wednesday show is. I'm going to be on tomorrow afternoon, talking about stock earnings and stuff. And then next Monday, recording the normal podcast with them with my, which should come out later that week. So lots of opportunities if you want to pop into any of those. Two of them are live. One of them will be recorded as always. Okay. Thank you, Sterling. Again, Christoph. Save. Geez, I just blanked on the name of the airline. Spirit Airlines up 10% pre-market. As Seeking Alpha article, Spirit Airlines files expedited appeal of deal block. Oh boy. Morning, Heinrich. Sterling loves the Tasty Trade platform. What is required for the market to go into buy mode long term? It would be a reset of valuations, which we never got close to. Because right now the like 10-year outlook based off these valuations and where stuff is trading is actually negative over a 10-year. That doesn't mean you can have bull cycles like we're in now and bear cycles like we've had, but it means it's not just a long-term buy and hold and walk away and go lay on the beach. It's actively managing stuff. So in order for long term to go back in buy mode, we need some kind of valuation resets, which means either earnings have to start right now. I mean, earnings are okay, but we're getting most of the run up on multiple expansions. So we either have to have multiple expansions come down because earnings are ramping up massively, which could happen, and then the market doesn't need to pull back, or you have to have the valuations pull back to get the multiples down and get them to a long-term reset pattern where it's a favorable long-term, just okay, I can find good things to buy. I can just stock them away, and there's not much management involved. This is active management right now. And what I mean is you can get these bull and bear cycles, like 1 year can be a bear cycle, 1 year can be a bull cycle, 1 year can be a bear cycle, 1 year can be a bull cycle. That's why it's not just, remember, like 2002 bear cycle, 2003 obviously turned into a bull cycle. We don't know where this year's going to end up yet. We don't have any major sells, but could we get something rolling over at some point and get into another bear cycle? Yes. So that's where I'm saying it's not just, it's why I literally, even if you're looking at stuff on a longer term, I'd be looking at it at least weekly and saying, okay, do we have any major weekly topping patterns? Let's know where the trigger point is. If they trigger, we'll be prepared. Other than that, short and medium term, again, you could get a short-term topping pattern that could, hey, we could get a 2 to 3 week pullback. Does that mean it's in major bear mode? No, that's just a normal pullback. Medium-term pattern could last a couple months. A long-term pattern, remember, once we get a reset, a long-term pattern can essentially be a reset. Okay, now we're going to go into another 10, 12-year bull cycle where you can sort of go into more buy and hold with really good stuff. And you can even look for some stuff that is in pure growth mode that's going to keep expanding. Hope that makes sense. So rest, I mean, you got the numbers coming out at 9, and then tomorrow we got the Fed meeting tomorrow. Remember that. So far this morning, you got Microsoft going into earnings is up, Nvidia is up, AMD slightly down, Tesla, good results from GM, Tesla bouncing. Remember I said look at yesterday's high. We broke above it, closed above it, and now it's continuing a bit higher. This was a %B buy into key resistance. All right, so that's where we sit there. Other than that, mega caps sort of mixed. Groups, everything's negative this morning, being led down by energy. Pretty big pullback after hitting key resistance on energy. Fed watch tool still has, again, tomorrow's baked in for a pause. They're not doing anything. But March is the one I'm going to be watching the most to see how that shifts tomorrow during the press conference. Right now, it's for another pause and then, again, 6 cuts. Fear and greed, still an extreme greed. So are we cautiously bull mode? Yes. I mean, where are we with the, look, we're at over 33 for the Schiller PE ratio. We're in an insane nosebleed territory. I like to see this get back below 20, just personally. Now, the longer term stuff has multiple things in it, but, you start getting value, Schiller PE below 20 is you can get into long-term valuation long-term valuations that are decent again. So, again, Sterling mentioned GM. We talked about UPS. JetBlue was down. Also, Pfizer I did not look at. We already talked Microsoft, AMD, Alphabet. Microsoft keeps on chugging higher. AMD is looking like they're already going into a pause, and Alphabet has broken above their last key highs, and now that's what we're looking at to see if that continues or not. Starbucks I have not looked at either. Tomorrow morning we have Boeing and MasterCard. Remember, Visa reported and it was a gap down after that. Then you got Qualcomm, but tomorrow's the big thing of the Fed. And then Thursday is major. All right, what have I missed? Good morning, Anissa. Everything's weird because we're being lied to. Yeah, but I'm not talking even government numbers. I'm talking even mixed with earnings. Some things are remarkably stronger than you'd think, and some other things are very weak. There's no consistency. There's no consistency. Good morning, Legion Reaver. Apple appears to have two potential double tops. Apple's in, we had the double bottom that's triggered. It got back above the 75. You got to take a look at the weekly. And the weekly, we got to measure it out. So the weekly qualifies. And then this is a bit, it's almost getting into a little sloppy, but look at the monthly. So definitely Apple, yes. On this, let me adjust this to visibility because you can see it now better here. So these are the kind of things you watch for, because let's say Apple were to trigger, especially on a close below 165.67, you could see a retest of the lows from January of last year. Not this year, of last year. That's something that could be a warning sign for, hey, that could be a multi-month pullback. Again, that never has to trigger. This even little one doesn't have to trigger, but if this little one triggers, it could roll into the bigger one. But that's what I'm talking about with actively managing. You know, if you're looking at this on a weekly basis, you're going to notice stuff like that and say, okay, now stuff's starting to shift. Looking at the markets, the S&P. Yesterday, the massive buying pattern, massive buy programs, which led to this. I hope people spotted that in the tick. The first thing when I started seeing this, okay, I glanced over to the tick. When you start seeing this, and let me show you what I mean real quick. This. You see these? Boom, 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 boom. This were massive buying programs, back to back to back to back to back. So that's the momentum breakout. Now, what that also did was leave a void in. So if we do backfill, when you get this much, it is not surprising to see some backfill, because this went insane yesterday. Was broken. This is also where I used the prior harmonic, which held up until very early this morning, just started breaking down. So the first level of key resistance is this 49.47 where we had the cluster, but there is a huge air gap in here. So if this gets negative momentum into the open, I'm watching back to 49.32, 49.35 area for support. There's not much unless we pull back, make a little double or a reversal pattern going into the open. There is not much key support in here. It really has to start getting above this 49.47 again before I can even get somewhat choppy bullish. And then even a pullback. Remember this 49.30, 49.31, 40. Here you see resistance. The massive breakout, which was not just standard buying. This was these were buy programs kicking off. And then you had people also trading the breakup, but the massive momentum was due to buy programs. That's the key support area. It was also they were running their buy programs. It wasn't just pumping their book. They were running. I mean, there were buy programs coming out left and right. You don't get those kind of ticks without sweep orders, uh, just lifting everything, just lifting all the offers. This is like boom, just give it all to me, give it all to me. So that's where you have a void. Now to the upside, if it does recover and does something again, continues with the run up. If Coco comes out and holds the market hostage, 49.71, then I'd be off 5K, and then 50.21. I think this market really wants to hit 5K. Really wants to hit 5K. Now here's another example. I mean, this thing has to get above 51.35 to invalidate this potential double top on a monthly basis. That might never, ever trigger, but this could be something. If it did, watch out below. So, and look how extended. Look at this. Just if you see it, look how extended this is getting from a monthly rotation zone. Doesn't mean it has to stop. Remember, it can keep going. But in this kind of stuff, this is getting very stretched for results. All right, that's enough of me talking. NASDAQ. What do we got here? We have another potential double top against the rotation zone, but that would need the close below, and this isn't for today, but this is for this week, 17,457.50. Other than that, yesterday, you had the double bottom. Pretty much it was really tough unless you were doing momentum plays. You could not have waited for a close on this, even on a 15-minute. Look at this. Boom. Straight to the first target. Now pulling back. But hitting the first target and then pulling back. So we'll see with this. But it's officially hit the first target there. Remember the other one, the other double top hit the first target, then reversed yesterday and was invalidated, setting up a bigger double top on the daily. So right now, key areas I'm watching is about 17,625 to about 1730 for first level support, and then 17,611, and then major support 17,583. The technical invalidation point for the triggered double now is on a close below 17,561, so it would need a pretty big pullback continuing into the open. Other than that, first level resistance is 17,667. Then we're looking at, oops, didn't mean to click that. Then we are looking at roughly major resistance coming in at 17,690 to 17,700. Above 17,700, it could start shifting back into choppy bullish. Unless I'll look for a bottoming pattern coming in, but there's not one yet. The Dow, not much. If it breaks out above yesterday's high, we're still at 38,550, and then the next major cluster isn't till 38,850. Key support, I'm just going to go over to major long-term support coming in at about 38,250. Russell coming right up to the 62.5 with no close above the 62.5 and stalling here. So that's still, that 2025 level is still key. Support back at 2004 now. The VIX, big reversal yesterday. Again, everything is also sell vol, buy it all, which puts things in a really tenuous situation should there be a sudden event that comes into the markets. So not much to talk about unless the VIX really starts getting back above about that 1380. DAX, retesting the highs. If it breaks above 17,205, 17,288. Key support, 16,970 to about 17,000. The notes confirmed. Let's see if this triggers today. going into the Fed meeting because the notes have confirmed but not triggered the double bottom. The yield triggered the double top yesterday and so far followed through to the first target. So the stop now on that on a yield basis is a close above 4.126. But the first target was reached and now stalled out there. 10-2s, not much, still the same analysis as yesterday. Dollar index still getting sold above this 103.20, but still in, getting to cycle bottoms again, out of overbought condition, getting to cycle bottoms with a sideways correction. Not much to talk about there unless it really starts closing above this 103.20. Cannot sustain any move. Crude, after a big run up to the very key resistance area, pull back to this widening rotation zone. So, as long as crude really doesn't close back below at this point, 74.50 on a closing basis, I'm still watching for more upside continuation. If it closes below 74.50, I'll go into choppier mode. But remember, this was very overbought with cycles at the top, and we're bouncing again today. Gold contract roll. That's why the gap you see. Contract roll. So just going to let that settle today with the roll and see where we sit. I mean, if we do back adjust, you see we're in up day, but it's not as dramatic. It's still in consolidation. So what else do we have here? Yen, it has not got anything going. Now, if it breaks below 146.65, then we could see even the pullback in the dollar. But other than that, nothing. Euro keeps getting bought on any push downs. Yesterday, pushed down right near to 50%, and then bouncing back. But you know what? We'll see some more currency movement after the Fed meeting tomorrow. Spiders. How does the tick work? It just measures the tick, and you can do the tick on the whole composite. You can do it just on, there's a bunch of different ticks. You can do it on the S&P 500. You can do it on the NASDAQ, or the NASDAQ only, which is the tick Q. You have the NYSE cumulative tick, which is just TICK. So you have combined tick. You can do just the ticky is Dow, just the Dow Industrials. All right, but you can do the Amex tick, tick A. What the tick is from a cumulative aspect is taking all the up ticks versus down ticks and netting them out. So, which is a good question if people did not know. So when you see stuff like this, this means off of all your stocks, off of all the cumulative stocks, we had over 1,400 ticking up simultaneously versus down. That is like sweep buying. It's a buy program. It's not that individuals are just, I need to buy more stock. It's literally the buy program's triggered and it sweeps a bunch of orders. It just goes and executes hundreds of stocks simultaneously when you see it this high. So that's what it means. And when it's this low, when you start getting below minus 1,000, it's generally a sweep sells program. Okay. So I watch, because you're going to get major momentum moves when you start getting back-to-back buy things triggered. Sorry, back to the spiders. Back to the spiders. You have actually, funny enough, just keep a little eye on this in the short term. Into the open, if we start getting closes below 490.38, we're trading pre-market right above it, because it could trigger as a little mini double top. And you could get a little pullback into the open continued. Other than that, 490.44 for any upside. I'm looking at just it would be to the gap fill yesterday, 491.27, or use some harmonics off yesterday's wide range bar. Key support is really coming in at this 488 area, 487 to 488. And then major support also for tomorrow is back at 485. Remember, it would just be even back to 485 is just an ordinary pullback into the rotation zone. We've hit pretty much all the harmonics in the short term, so we have to wait for something to reset, but 494.63 to 496 is the next major target window. The Qs, you do have, here we're into the open. I'm sorry if you need to jump. Sorry for getting sidetracked today. The Qs, you do have a double top, but a long way off from triggering 423.18. All right. The Qs, first thing would be to the gap fill. The gap fill of 428.15. Then would be to the high here, roughly 429.85 to 430.56, and then 432.07. Remember, even on the Qs, that's the potential double is against the rotation zone. Tesla, keep an eye. You see the gap, again, the gap up. We had the percent B buy through the high, confirmed with the close, and now it's gapping into the key resistance area. So this would definitely be an area I'd start raising a stop, okay, for that. Is there a sloppy daily double bottom? 5 minute, Richard, 5 minute for the tick. You're welcome, Chris. Is there a sloppy daily double on the April contract? Let's just pull up the pure April contract. Yeah, looks like it. And that's sloppy, but that does look like it just on the pure April contract. And that 2080 is going to be key. You could see that quick run up to 2100 though, if this this point is confirmed but not triggered yet on a daily basis. That is Christoph. Starbucks looks like it has a sloppy potential daily double bottom. Oh, that is. That's really a tough one. Nothing on the, there's really, if you're looking at this, you're better just to do this on this one. This is very, very, very sloppy. You're better to do something above about 94.20. Your first key target area. Stop production would be about 95.15, and the first target area would be 96. It's on anything there. If this kept running above 96, then they did strong earnings, then I'd be targeting a return to the 200. You're welcome, Anissa. So, peeking back at the S&P, let's just see. All right. There we go. I wonder, did that new? No. But it looks like we got the buys. Let's see where the tick opens since we've been talking about the tick again. The tick, see, sort of a negative opening, but bouncing back pretty strongly with the markets. So negative opening and already a bounce back above the key resistance level. So, looks like the at least up till now, where's my 4-hour stuff? There it is. 4-hour into the rotation zone, and now you get the rotation back up. So I'm definitely going to see, as long as the tick does not go overly negative, going to still be watching for choppy with a bullish bias, unless something shifts with the tick or we get some kind of topping pattern up around 49.55. All right, with that, thank you for tuning in. And just a reminder, if you tuned in late, I'm going to be on what's the name of that? I keep forgetting the Ninja Trader show tomorrow. I'm sorry, Ninja Trader. Seeing the Future. Seeing the Future tomorrow morning with Ninja Trader, and then with Bob and Jim tomorrow afternoon at 3 p.m. Central for a live stream. I will talk to everyone later. If somebody could put up, if they watch Seeing the Future, if they could put the link in Discord or let people know what time it is. I believe it's 9:30 to 10 Central Time tomorrow. I'll talk to everyone later. Oh, is it Develop? Okay, Develop Your Edge. That's the one with Jim and Bob. I got so much stuff going on. It's crazy right now. But if you can tune into any of those and at least pop in and say hi, it'd be appreciated. Talk to everyone later. Bye for now.